It's not like Europe or Macron could be bothered to influence Washington's actions in Ukraine in the interest of securing peace, though. They just blindly followed Washington's anti-Russian agenda, even to their own economic detriment. But now they want to drag China into this whole mess, which it has managed so far to just sidestep in terms of any kind of involvement. Macron may try to turn on the good old French charm during this visit, but with von der Leyen in tow, that's kind of like showing up at a dinner party with someone who can't stop publicly bad-mouthing you and your choice of friends.
Far from being put off by the atrocious and illegal invasion of Ukraine, President Xi is maintaining his no-limits friendship with Putin. China has now turned the page on the area of reform and opening and is moving into a new era of security and control.
Leave it to Europe's top unelected bureaucrats to substitute diplomacy for virtue signaling rhetoric. Not sure how attacking someone before arriving on their doorstep is going to grease the skids for future cooperation, but China offered to help von der Leyen save face, replying that she didn't even write the words that were coming out of her mouth.
That speech contained a lot of misrepresentation and misinterpretation of Chinese policies and the Chinese positions. On the one side, she realizes that it is important for Europe, and it is in the interest of Europe to engage with China. And at the same time, he is also fearful of the criticism.
Yeah, it isn't European leaders' fault that they lack the backbone to withstand Washington's pressure to the detriment of Europe's own interests. It's not like that's their actual job or anything. But Beijing's statement suggests that China knows that the rhetorical lunacy and schizophrenia coming from European officials stems from the desire to keep Washington on side on one hand, but also to maintain ties with China, as even von der Leyen herself concedes.
We need to focus on de-risk, not decouple. We must leave space for discussion on a more ambitious partnership and on how we can make competition fairer and more disciplined.
So for all the criticism level at China, the fact is that Macron and von der Leyen are set to meet with various high-level Chinese officials on this visit, including the Chinese premier and the chairman of the Chinese National Legislature. So all the nasty rhetoric in the world really can't mask the fact that despite Washington's anti-China ambitions, Beijing is still one of Europe's top trading partners. And that's why we're seeing European leaders on these recent field trips to Beijing during this economically challenging time for the bloc, which essentially results from their own unforced errors amid the conflict in Ukraine.